Hello, and welcome to yet another TRC podcast where I'm your host, Dane, and to my right, the master of shine, Levi Gates.
Hey, Dane, what's going on?
Looking fresh and good today. All right. And to my left, Anthony Fisher.
Thanks, Dane.
Welcome.
Am I not looking fresh and good?
I mean, I'm just saying in particular over here because our man's doing all right. So I'm going to give Levi a chance to
I did get my hair cut and I did trim my beard.
I was saying your beard fits, shape change.
We're going slimmer, right?
I shortened it up.
Okay.
Shortened it up. I may or may not have lost a few pounds. I don't know.
Whoa.
But I'm feeling good, ready to start this new year off the best way possible with, of course, the Rag Company podcast.
Okay.
And everybody tuning in. So, as Dane said 30 seconds before we went on, let's get the elephant out of the room. So, yeah, you guys did see I did have a medical event. Basically, I blacked out.
Yeah.
It was hot in here. I have no other ideas as to how or why it happened, but I blacked out. So went to the doctor. Your mom took me right away. Ran a battery of tests. I still have the shave marks in my chest.
Oh, boy.
Ooh, yeah, shave the rest of it.
Yeah, I've got to even it out.
Like the 40-year-old virgin when they're pulling the...
Yeah, that's how it looks now. So they ran an EKG. They ran all the tests. I'm okay. Normal. The next morning, though, I did have a doctor's appointment already scheduled. I was already going in for a physical.
Just happened to be one
no,
scheduled.
I was already. I did. I had scheduled it like
Going
2
in for
weeks
your
ago.
Yearly,
yearly physical. That's right. Just to make sure
How
everything's all
convenient.
right. So when I told the doctors, I said, "Hey, I'm going in for a physical tomorrow already. I'm already scheduled for it." So the next morning, I went to that. They ran a number of blood tests and labs. Checked a bunch of stuff. So far, everything's fine.
Good.
My cholesterol is a little elevated, but not much, just a few points. And I need to basically take care of my diet and make sure that I'm exercising more. So it sounds like I'll be
those walks
walking with you more often. And that was really it. However, he did say, I want you to come back in 6 weeks.
Okay.
We're going to do another run of tests and just make sure there's nothing wrong with you that's hidden.
Of course.
So I'll go back in 6 weeks in the first part of February and figure that out, see if anything comes of it. Basically, the way it sounded, according to him, is that I'm just not managing my stress well.
Oh.
Now, most of you know I do work 7 days a week pretty much. I detail cars on the weekends and I work here. That's not my stress. My work is not my stress. So my stress is coming from other places.
Okay.
So I will be working on that.
Okay.
Basically.
Hey, you're making progress, then that's all that matters. As long as you're
like I said,
to make it better.
I'll be 43 this year, so it's probably good that I should make sure that I'm okay for my kids and life and just myself. And so that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
So I'll still be at Mobile Tech. Not going to not be there for that. So I'll still get to see everybody there. If you're going to Mobile Tech, feel free, come up, give me a hug. Tell me hi. I want to thank everybody for reaching out and
we
all
got
the
lots
support
of well wishes
and
here,
all the folks that texted and messaged and told me and said, "Hey, you're back." Good news is that post I put out yesterday, I was telling Anthony I'm booked till the middle of March at the moment.
Nice.
And I have another person that just reached out this morning that said, "Hey, I want to get my car in this week if I can." And I said, "I'm booked up." So,
all right.
It's nice. I don't like booking out more than 3 months in advance because people tend to get a little flaky or they're like, they man, I forgot. I already got my car detailed. So I'm going to probably try and stop it right about here. But yeah, other than that, I think I just need to start going across the street with Anthony and Jimmy and pumping some iron.
Pumping some iron, right?
Hit that crunch.
Doing some walks with Dane.
Get under those bars, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and to try and lift with my shoulders that are shot.
Better to be under them than behind them, am I right?
I think what I need to do is finally invest in that rowing machine I want.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And then see if I can get Glenn and Seabass to come over and build me a Viking longship.
I was about to say, imagine you go to his house and you just hear like Viking war music with like horns and everything, and it's just him rowing.
Yeah.
That would be pretty amazing. I do want to say, though, Levi, I apologize because looking back at that feed, I was like, oh, he's fine. He's fine.
Well, the hard part is
he's fine.
we do.
And
oh my,
yeah. The hard part is we've joked around about that joke where
totally
somebody like falls asleep when something's boring. We've done it so many
we
times. We
literally just started talking about a car cover, and I mentioned his Evo, and that's right when it happened.
Like we've done that for so long. We didn't think anything of it, but at the same time, I was like, man, he's really playing this bit up, right? But I'm like, he's fine.
He's going long.
He's good. He's just joking. And I felt absolutely horrible. Like I was literally like,
in retrospect, it looked bad, but we honestly didn't
so
know.
bad. I like once Levi took off for the day. I mean, I was like so down. I just like
you called me a lot, and I didn't answer the phone because I was mad at him.
He was gut punched. You could just see he was like a lost little kid in the mall, just like
I felt just sick to my stomach. I was like, I'm like, why the heck did I not do anything? I was like, because I genuinely thought you were joking, and then I was freaked out. But anyways, so I just want to apologize. I'm not a bad person. I just
you do bad things sometimes.
Right, this is about him.
No, it's not about me. It's not about me.
It's about him.
I felt bad the way I reacted towards that situation. But anyway, so as long as Levi's feeling good to go, we're not going to joke around with the passing out anymore, though. At least.
Well, we're not going to do physical comedy pretending to pass out.
We won't know if it's real or not.
Yeah. If we can't tell, it's a problem. So.
No, but it was just one of those things. And as you guys know, last year I had an incident almost exactly the same. Felt different, the two units, so I don't know if they're the same, but I did black out. But I don't know if that was a seizure.
We're just really glad you weren't
worked this year
when it happened.
Well, I've worked this year to try and prevent those type of issues, and so to have it happen just while I was sitting here surprised me. And I don't know if it was the waiting of going, here it comes again, end of the year. I hope I don't.
Oh, no.
I felt
just thinking about it?
that when I went to my neurologist, and he said, "It's 6 months. We'll see how you do." And I said, "In 6 months, I'm going to be in the UK for Waxstock, and I've got a schedule that is going to burn me.
You're eating delicious steaks, and you're going to be meeting people, shaking hands, kissing babies."
Well, what I was worried about was, remember how hard our schedule was in Netherlands and Switzerland.
Crazy. Yeah.
Where it was midnight to 5 every day.
Yeah.
And we were sleeping in those tiny hotels.
Yeah. Yep.
In those little beds. And it was like enough to get our clothes out, like change your clothes, get your clothes out for the morning.
And we're gone.
Shower and poop and be out again. Yeah. I mean,
but it's almost like
but that's what I was worried about, was the stress of that.
That kind of stress like focuses you in a way, though.
I think it does, but that was what I was worried about because he kept saying in 6 months it's going to hit again if it's a seizure, so be wary of it. And I could feel it. I could feel that pressure behind my eyes. Mm-hmm. This was different. This I felt hot.
Well, when we watched it back and saw there were a lot of signs leading up to it that we didn't catch, because you have to understand, where you're facing us, you see the full panel, you see our faces, all that kind of stuff. From here, I'm catching like the side of his face. I'm not catching when he's looking at you guys. I don't see any of the stuff. He was like fanning himself, took his hat off, all the things. And when I touched you were scorching hot. So it was like, okay, there were a lot.
It's like I got way too hot.
I hit a limit
overheated.
Switch. Yeah.
That's what happened.
So
hard shutdown.
Hard reset. Blue screen. Okay. Yeah.
So anyway. But we can move on. Yeah, we can move on from that. Some other housekeeping things.
I love that, Alex. Thank you.
So housekeeping things. Again, we are going to be launching quite a few new products this month.
Yes.
And the best way to know about which new products are being launched is to sign up. Where at, Levi?
Well, you go down to the ragcompany.com and scroll to the bottom, unless you've never visited our webpage before, and then it'll pop up and say, join sign up for the details newsletter. But you can scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, and it says sign up for the newsletter right here. And when you do that, not only do we give you a 15% off coupon, but you'll be aware of when anything happens here.
Yeah.
And the other thing we
don't spam you, though.
We don't. But here's another thing. So a lot of people have been asking, and a ton of people reached out this year for their New Year's resolutions and stuff. They want to get some training, some education, some stuff like that. They want to know, what events are we having at the Rag Company? So that is something that Anthony and I have talked about with our e-commerce team, about building a events page on the website. Yeah. So that those of you that are wondering what's going on every month at the Rag Company, we'll be able to put that up on there so that you'll be able to sign up or be able to join in or be able to plan your trips accordingly. And so our goal is to try and get as many. I'm still working on it. I want to try and have all the events done for the year when it goes live on the site later in the next few weeks or months.
Nice.
So, but those of you that keep asking, that's what we're trying to do. I hear you, and we're trying to make that happen. So
that's great.
I think it'll be good, and I think it'll be a fun year, especially because we're going to be building that new store next door. We'll have a new storefront, so we'll be able to have events, and people can come over, and we'll be able to do stuff locally as well as try and bring other brands in. Like as of right now, we've built there's a potential for a class with Lake Country. They're doing a paint correction class that we're going to be hosting, I believe, first weekend of May, Cinco de Mayo weekend. So for those of you wondering, we'll get that information out. But know that we're going to be having an event here. It is going to be a fee, but we're going to put all that info on there so that people can know. And then as of right now, if you went to the Avery Dennison website, you could see we've got 3 wrap classes, color change classes scheduled for this year here at the Rag Company. And in May, we have a tint class as well.
Nice.
Wow.
So Anthony and I's tint shop is going to be probably fully functional by mid-August. Ready to be doing some window tinting.
It's a window tinting, amateur PDR, and rock chip repair.
It's
hey, that's an excellent toolkit to have in your repertoire.
So
it's not great PDR, Dane, though. So don't
But
it'll get you home.
It'll get you home. That's the important part. Now, other than that, I was going to say, man, we're going into year 3 of not having a storefront, and I know people have been clamoring for that. So
the new storefront will be very nice, and I think a lot of people are going to be very excited. I know locally our folks are going to be very excited. We had a customer come in on Friday to wash. We borrowed their car to wash it, and I remember the husband, when I was talking to him, he had said, "Oh, I'm going to be doing some shopping while I'm there," and I was like,
we don't
have
really
a place
have
that you can do that. I don't know how that all.
I miss that. I mean, honestly, me and Levi had a ton of fun when we would hear that somebody is down in the storefront.
They're just walking
and they just wanted some help with some products, and we would go down there and we would just shoot the stuff, man. And we would hang out, talk with them. We met a lot of really cool people through doing that. And technically, Sid, right, from PNS, right? I mean, really, most of our first interactions with Sid were in our storefront at the Rag Company, down at the bottom, and we would meet her downstairs and talk about all sorts of detailing stuff. And I don't know. My favorite part is getting the I don't want to call them the crazy customers. That's not the right word maybe to use. The really particular customers, like the people like myself. Right?
You get a lot of.
I was going to say, the storefront is how I met you guys. Because you came to TRC. You wouldn't be here if not for the storefront.
I love when people come in. They go, "I'm pretty picky," or they would tell me that they're pretty picky, and I go, I am probably pickier than you are. And they're like, how picky are you?
It's not a competition.
I'm like crazy. Like I probably need help. And they go, I also need help. I like you. My name's Dennis, right? And I go, hey, Dennis, I'm Andy, and they go, so, and then we hit it off. It's just super awesome. So hopefully we'll have that up and going soon.
Be good.
But since we are having our 2023 first podcast of the year, I think, Levi, your New Year's resolutions, New Year's resolutions, I'm kind of like, either going to do it or you're not going to do it type of thing. Mm-hmm. But out of the sake of the holiday, you would like to live a, let's just say, healthier, more stress-free life.
Yeah, I'm going to try.
Okay.
That is really my resolution. Is I need to walk more. I do need to be a little probably better with my diet. Cut out more carbs.
I think you were saying you wanted to be a millionaire this year.
Well, I would like that, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, not 2023, maybe 2024.
Hopefully.
Okay, yeah. So it takes time.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to do that. We'll see.
Okay.
You never know.
Never know, right?
Could happen. But I'm excited for some of the stuff that we've got in the pipeline.
Yep.
And I'm hoping that those things will help pay for that stuff, so to speak, some of those ideas. But I'm excited to try and get all of our classes and training available for everybody. I'm excited to travel this year to see more of the world and meet more folks.
Of course.
I think the one thing that is something that I find when I first started getting into social media on Instagram, Facebook, was when I added people, I would add them, and then in the back of my head, I always thought it'd be fun to meet that person. Mm-hmm. And I look at the people that I have now in my Facebook feed and on my old Instagram and all that, and I go, it's pretty amazing when I bring on when I add a detailer and I look and they have 900 friends in common with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
The community.
I really do.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where I still have this idea, and maybe this is an idea that's 10 years old, but I still want to meet and shake hands and introduce myself to all those people that I'm friends with on Facebook.
Wow.
Or Instagram.
You got to catch
like
up.
That's a goal that has become more achievable in the last 7 years.
Yeah, the more we travel, the more opportunities you get.
I mean, I'm blown away. I would like to meet almost everybody that comments, and I have met almost everybody that comments in our chats, in our group, in the Rag Company group, which is one of the things that I find the most exciting. And the one thing that I do love about my job is being able to meet all of these folks that we've been able to talk to.
It's more impressive that you're not only able to meet them, but you're able to remember them.
I hope that I still have that superpower.
That's the biggest thing.
It's gotten shaky.
We're good at remembering faces, but names.
I've met a lot of people.
This year is the most, but this year is the most shakiest I've been on names.
Yeah,
ever.
I know. Well, I mean, you have built quite the inventory of people to
I don't know the name.
The old mental Rolodex.
I will say this, guys. I have a hard time remembering who my kids' teachers are, what their names are. I write them down in my phone, and I have to look at them because it is a area of contention.
Oh boy,
in my household that I know everybody's names except for the two people that are pretty much watching my children every day. And helping them.
Well, usually their name's on like the door, right?
Well, yeah, but as a dad, I should know that. So my goal is to
just cheat and use the door.
But my goal is to try and be more. I got to use that power wisely.
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing.
That's fair.
But you're right, Anthony. There are people that we remember and people that we see, and it's pretty wild when I am blown away when I still remember them. Like, I'm amazed. And when I don't, I know who they are, but I don't know their names. It bothers me. It really does.
Oh yeah, you can see. You can see it bothers you.
It haunts him. Like it's not like something that like
it messes me up.
Like, dang, it's like it'll ruin his day. He'll be like, I can't believe.
Yeah.
I forgot that person's name.
Or I say the wrong name.
Yeah, and you go, I can't believe I called him the wrong name. And he'll keep saying that over and over. I'm like, Levi, just let it go. It's okay.
If he doesn't remember your name, don't give him a hard time about it. You don't want to put this guy in the hospital.
That they don't give me a hard time. It's just
do that.
Like, it really bothers me. Because it's something I hold.
He's really good.
Pretty hard to. Yeah, I'm pretty passionate about. So anyway, thank you, Darren.
Pointing out. Yeah.
So Dane, how about yourself? Any New Year's resolutions or plans?
I'm building on the things that I started last year, which were not resolutions, but just simply looking out for old number one and just trying to make sure, like, okay, big boy.
You've done really
work on it.
Good,
and I've tried to be as consistent as possible, and I've been really, really, really determined to make sure it stays that way. So every day it's the same Ziploc bag of supplements. Looks like I'm walking around with drugs, but here's my supplements. I'm going on my walk. I do this thing, drink this much water every day. It's just trying to turn it into a habit, which bad habits are easy to pick up.
Oh, yeah.
And real easy. But when you're trying to do good habits, boy, it takes it out of you. And you just, for me, it was quit, bad foods cold turkey, and then you could slowly reintroduce them as long as you're doing the other things well enough and you don't let it become an addiction again.
You want the Baconators back is what you're trying to say.
Of course.
He wants the midnight Baconators.
Big bad bacon burgers.
He wants
any chance
midnight
I can get.
Baconator.
But at the same time, for every one of those, I got to be having at least 5 or 6 salads.
It's a good band
bunch
name.
of other
Midnight
things like
Baconators.
Oh, dude, that's a great band name, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're the Midnight Baconators. You ready to rock?
Yeah, dude, just like ska punk. Or
I was going to say it sounds like a ska band.
Midnight Baconators, dude.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So so basically what I've been doing up to this point is going for long walks, but now I'm introducing elevation changes more, and I'm making a point to like make sure
Everest.
I do well.
Walking
in some
up
cases,
my driveway now.
In previous walks, I was only ever hitting like maybe 50, 60 feet of elevation. Now
are you ready
I'm doing
for
about 300 or 400 feet of elevation.
Are you ready for some day hikes?
Yeah. Could do a little bit of that.
He's doing. Well, they have those elevation masks, right? That people used to wear in weightlifting. It's a
oh my god, mask, those are terrible.
So
I see
elevation training with the mask on. Dane.
You really adopted that.
Yeah.
No, but that's
molded by it.
No, but I think that's a good thing to do because it's starting to work on your calves a little more.
Yeah. For example, this weekend, instead of walking the normal Greenbelt Trail that I do over by the Mesa, I went up into the neighborhood using that hill that goes up into the neighborhood there.
Yeah.
And that one's no joke. Like
no, it's a steep hill.
It's pretty steep. So like going on it, because the other trails that are on that hillside were closed. They were really muddy. It had rained and it was just kind of a mess. But yeah, I went for, walks up through there and deliberately went to the top of the neighborhood and then back down. Of course, my dog, she's getting older, so she doesn't mind the long, like, level walks, but the elevation, I could tell, was like getting to her, like climbing the hills. I'm like, okay, maybe next time I won't force you to go this way. But what I can do is maybe break them in two and then just take her on the nice flat one, and then I'll go do the other
Have you done the Table Rock hike yet?
I haven't done it this year. The last time I did it was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Where you start at the back of the prison?
Yeah, I've only gone that way once. I haven't done it in a long time.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But I'd like to start doing.
There's another one that you could go to, an abandoned mine.
No, that sounds exciting.
It's called Adelman. It's the Adelman mine.
I don't know anything about this hike.
It's at the top of Hilltop.
Okay.
So you head out past Lucky Peak.
Oh, past Lucky Peak.
So you go past Lucky Peak and then right past Hilltop Station, which is right at the first peak.
Yeah.
Right past Hilltop Station, there's a turnoff. You park there and then you walk, and it's a straight shot.
Okay.
But it's about a 500 to 1,500 foot elevation change.
Nice.
And it's just a straight hike up, and you get to the mine. And then you can hang out at the mine or go into the abandoned building and hope that it doesn't collapse on you. Okay. And then you can walk back.
Wouldn't that be unfortunate? It's been there for like over 100 years, and today's the day when it finally goes.
But it's a straight shot. And it's pretty cool. If you just Google Adelman Mine, there's a lot of cool stuff. But that's a simple drive up to Lucky Peak, past Hilltop there, just on the left. It's
Otherwise,
simple.
I was going to walk up 8th Street and turn that into one of my new habits, too. Is just because there's
That's another good
elevation
one.
that way.
There's a lot.
It's big and wide, so like cars go by, but at least you're off to the side. And it's like, okay, I'm going to walk up
There's so many trails that you could do, like just around the in the foothills. So much.
Yeah. So
and you're in the perfect neighborhood for it.
And I got quite a few around me. So now that I'm introducing elevation into the mix, then I'm going to be doing more of those. So that's like the part that I'm trying to add to my.
Gonna have to get you some Brooks Catamounts.
Ooh. Yeah, I need to get me some good
hiking
off-roading shoes.
Brooks from our friends at Brooks Running.
Hiking shoes, not full-on boots. I got boots, but hiking shoes is a very specific kind of thing. So looking forward to that. But yeah, that's more or less where I'm going with it. Obviously, eating well, like no matter how much physical exercise you do, eating well will go even further. So it's one of those things where if you're not eating right and you're exercising a ton to compensate for that, you have to be doing a lot of exercise to compensate for it.
Eat it right, eat it tight.
That's right. That's our friend Pan, the organizer, says that.
When you start feeling like a balloon. Yeah. So anyway, that's me. What about you?
I don't know. I mean, the weird part is, with the new year happening, it didn't feel like the new year.
Right. Well, it's also
for some reason.
So you're now your second year of being a dad.
Yeah. I mean, like normally, in the past, I'd be like, okay, this next year, new year, I have a resolution, or we'd build up something. It was kind of weird. I mean, it crossed over, and I felt like it didn't. It's weird. I mean, the last 3 years have felt like there hasn't been a new year kind of thing. It's all felt kind of clustered. But
thanks, Joey.
I don't know. Going into 2023, I think I mean, I've already kind of started trying to go back to the gym once a week, twice a week with Jimmy. I want to try to do maybe a little bit more. I don't know. Right now, I'm still pretty tired all the time. I think I want to try to get better sleep for 2023.
Yeah,
that's a big one people overlook.
Like sleep is pretty important for how I function, so I need to figure out a better way to get better sleep. We have a new mattress, but I don't know. I think maybe earlier bedtimes, or I don't know.
Be like Jimmy, get the old man hours going.
No, I straight up might wear I think I was talking to my wife about this last night.
A lot of it though is your kid. She'll dictate those hours.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
you're at a hard spot.
She wants to. I mean, because she's got a lot of energy for a 1-year-old. But I don't know. Maybe I start because we me and my wife, we have a TV in our bedroom, which.
So that's one thing
I used to love.
Yeah, we got rid of the TV in the room.
when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
Now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like, I don't think I want the TV in the room anymore because we leave it on, just turn on the volume and fall asleep. But I think it's literally the stimulation from like the flashing lights and the sound.
It's keeping your brain active.
It keeps something going for a while. And I don't think I'm going to sleep as fast as
that's
I
the
should.
one thing that Carly and I, when we first had kids, like right before we had kids, that's the one thing that we didn't put in our room. We used to have a TV in our room. Like when we first got married, like that was just what we did, and it was great. And we could watch TV. But
it was nice on a sick day, but that's the only time I would
once I got
ever
to
use
about
it.
Anthony's age, then it was like TV's out of the room. We had a computer in our room. We took the computer out. We took as many electronics out of our bedroom as possible, except for our phone.
I was gonna say the phone is gonna be the almighty.
But here's the thing: this last year, the thing that I've done, and this is something I've stuck to for the year. So when I'm just going in to chill on my bed, scroll on my phone, I'll go do that.
Yeah.
But when I'm actively going to bed, I'll turn off the TV out in the living room. I'll go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, whatever. I walk up and I plug my phone in to the charger, and then I put it face down on the nightstand. Set my alarms, put it face down. I usually put my glasses on top of it, and I go to bed.
There you go.
My wife will scroll.
Yeah.
And scroll.
Infinite scroll.
And watch videos to help her fall asleep and scroll. And then she's like, oh my gosh, didn't go to sleep till 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or couldn't fall asleep last night.
Yeah.
My thing is, and I've said this, just turn your phone off. You don't have to turn it off, but I put mine face down so that it doesn't light up.
Right.
When a text or an email, because we have that just happens for the three of us. It just happens all day and all night. And so I place it face down so I don't have that distraction, and it's on silent because the alarm still powers through even on silent. So that's what I do. And you might try that. Get the TV out of there if you have the laptop in there, which I know you don't.
No,
but
laptop in there. But anyway, I don't know. So I'm going to figure out something.
But I would say that's something simple.
I would want to try to get some better sleep, and then I don't know. I want to find more time. Give me time.
Well, you did have a child, so you made a very deliberate choice to have less time.
No, I want to be able to find. I mean, I know I'm a dad now, but I would like to find more time to.
Thanks, Umberto.
Knock out my never-ending list of projects that because especially around wintertime, I feel like I don't get anything done. I just feel super lazy and. I don't know. So I'm trying to figure out.
It's pretty normal. That's how I feel.
I know.
10 years on some projects.
Yeah, I just want to find more time some way somehow. But that, and then I'm really pretty much kind of eliminated caffeine out of my diet.
You've done a good job this year
because of my arrhythmia issues, and so I don't know. I mean, I've had a little bit of caffeine in the last month, but I don't drink coffee anymore. I'm not drinking energy drinks, and I'm not drinking any pre-workouts or anything like that.
Yeah, the only time that you did was when we would, even at SEMA, you were doing pretty good.
Yeah, I had one. I think I had 1 or 2 drinks at SEMA.
Yeah,
and then I tried drinking the coffees in the morning and finished the full things. But
I
kind of needed it at SEMA, but it kind of makes it worse.
But you were still less though
than I normally ever
the amount
be.
that you would have been. So I'm
trying to kind of completely eliminate that. But it's weird because you know how some people say quit caffeine. It'll make you feel better, right? You'll have more energy if you just lay off the caffeine. I wouldn't necessarily say I feel any better. I feel more tired all the time. If anything, it was great. The caffeine was great, maybe as my current lifestyle is, to help wake me up in the morning and kind of get me going for the day.
Yeah.
So I would say I don't necessarily feel any better there. I'm sure my heart's probably doing a little bit better, but I don't know. Caffeine can be a very good friend. It can be very helpful.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Well, I have a question about that for you guys.
Yeah.
Maybe not specifically caffeine, but more specifically coffee, and I guess caffeine is a side effect. Liz was talking about this, thought she had overheard something about how you develop a particular chemical during sleep, and when you wake up, there's still like a reservoir of that left over. And if you drink coffee too soon after you wake up, you're essentially like blocking, trapping that. So as soon as the caffeine wears off, you're still really tired and everything because you get hit with what's left of the reserves or something. I don't know how much of that is just BS.
I think it depends on the person.
Does somebody know the specifics of that?
No, but I would say I think that depends on the person because it's the ability to wake up.
Because for me, caffeine, I find I don't crash after caffeine really, but it's different for everybody. I understand.
Yeah, David Blowy says you have to wait an hour and a half for that to go away. But I would say, that like, I think it depends on the person, honestly, and how fast and quick you are to wake up.
Everybody's chemistry is a little different.
Anthony and I, when we get up, we just get up.
Yeah,
we get up, we get rolling, we get moving. Like when we've traveled together and we're sharing a hotel room, like I don't have any issue with it. When I wake up when I roomed with Josh Petro, same thing. He just gets up. He's ready to rock and roll.
That's the least surprising thing I've heard ever. That man just sounds like the kind of guy.
But that's what I mean. It's different.
Just flick a switch.
It's different. Like when I wake up, like when I've shared a room with your dad.
Oh, yeah.
Your dad
process.
Your dad has his process.
Work my way up here.
My dad is the same way. My dad wakes up, but then he'll wake up at 5 a.m.
Ugh.
But then he wakes up and then he goes and sits in a chair and reads for an hour.
It's just kind of like a little warm up.
That's his warm, and he'll just go sit and read a book. And I go, how in the heck can you do? He doesn't get coffee yet. He just sits and reads. And then he goes and makes coffee. And he makes coffee, and while he's making the coffee, he goes and takes a shower. And then when he gets out, he gets his, so maybe he is at that 1.5 hours. And all of a sudden he's ready and he gets his coffee. And he's like, well, I'm ready to do my day.
Interesting.
6:30. And I'm drink my coffee. Now I'm going to go for a walk. And he did that when he was working. When he would work and be to work at 8:30 or 9 a.m. every day, he would do that. He'd wake up at 5. And I go, how are you up for 5 or 4 hours before you start your day?
Yeah.
And you've accomplished all this, but that was just who he was. That's not me. I can't do that.
Cortisol. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I've heard of cortisol. I just didn't know if that was the particular specifics of it.
There you go.
Interesting.
G. Davis says,
Anthony, if I think you cut back on rewatching She-Hulk and the late night Uber Eats order from KFC will fall asleep much quicker.
It's been known to help. Yes.
That's so funny, man. No, anyway, so yeah, I want to try to focus on better sleep this year. I'm going to figure out some techniques for things to do.
Sure.
And that's pretty, I mean, that's like I didn't really have a whole lot. I could say the standard, I want to lose weight or get back into shape, but like, you can do that anytime. You don't need a new year.
For examples of people who've started well before that and just continue the process.
Yeah, there's certain things that you can just jump into, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's good.
I'm focusing on some very realistic things for my current situation.
And I don't think there's a reason to ever feel like you have to blow a bunch of different stuff to do this, to get your year off.
You don't need a new year to do it either.
Right. Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah, I know. I'm
that
repeating
was very
it right
strange
back
what
at you.
I just realized what I just said. So
I'm just repeating what you said more clearly.
Yeah. Point is that like I think you're going to have better success if you don't, and I think you'll probably hit more stuff. Than you'll realize.
Yeah. I used to since my wife's not working, right? So she's staying at home right now. I will say it was much easier when she was working. Because she gets up easier in the morning than I do. But like if she woke up at 7, right, and like literally turn on every single thing in the bathroom, I'd hear a blow dryer, I would hear, her podcast, whatever she's listening to.
Yeah.
That would help me like naturally wake up a little bit. Yeah. And I could wake up, kind of roll over, see her, be like, go back to sleep for like another 30 minutes or whatever I needed to do. And then I could get up and like it was nice.
It's ambient noise.
I'd be like, there's people awake. It's night. It's I'm saying there's movement, there's action happening. But when it's like dead silent, in
you don't want to be the first.
And like my wife's got like the blackout curtains on, and I'm like, what time is it? I roll over and I see 8 o'clock. I go, gee, I'm like, what year is it?
But that's different.
Like
it's
running out of bed,
the sleep that you and I have, and the sleep that like Nick and Anthony Blaine. What we have is dad sleep.
Yeah.
And so there's this hypervigilance that you never fully feel like you're out.
No,
like you sleep.
Your body won't allow you to.
Your body won't allow you because you're always on alert. Regardless if you like, my wife will say like, "Oh, you slept through this." Okay. There are rare times where I'll sleep through that or other things, but it's because I'm so tired.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I'm sorry I didn't wake up for that. But if the house was burning down, you'd wake up.
Yeah.
Right? Or if the dog was throwing up or choking,
if the dog was throwing up, if
you'd wake up to that.
Getting broken into, if I missed trash day,
right?
You want to see me get up faster than anybody in the world.
That's what I'm saying.
Wait for that trash truck to pull up in front of my house. I'm sprinting.
Yeah, but it's when you have
forget every
I am
week.
running on rock. Like I am literally sprinting on rock. I don't even care if the pain.
But
about the pain.
Because you have a partner, there are times where your body can relax and other times that it can't.
Yeah.
And that's when that sleep comes, where you sleep very different because you don't have that worry.
No, for me, it's the dog. I can hear the dog barking a mile away, and I'll just know, oh, God, I got to solve that before somebody complains. Yeah. But that's it. So, that's the closest I have to
And G's right. The sleep issues you're describing will only get worse with age.
I know.
G, just looking out and letting you know it isn't going to get better.
I just miss the days.
I will say, though, that night that when you and I, when we got to Coventry, after that whirlwind trip.
Oh, God. I know. We slept good.
And we were like, and you said, how many days were we in this hotel? And I said 3 days. And you
Something
were like,
allows you to relax when you hear
I think
more than 2 days.
I think it was like, 3 days or 4 days and 3 nights. And Anthony said, oh, thank God. And then farted.
Yeah.
The longest fart I've ever heard. And then I said, I know. And then I did what you did. And then I farted the longest fart I know. And then we both started laughing, and then we both farted again. And we said, what is wrong with us? We're in this huge hotel room at the DoubleTree.
Yeah.
Where we finally relaxed, and we knew that we could unpack a little bit. We knew we were going to be able to sleep. We didn't have to get up at 5 and leave again. Because we were on the run of a day. And so like all of a sudden we're like, wow, we're in one spot for 4 days.
I love these trips, but I hate that we're never in one place for longer than like a day or two because you can never really let your guard down.
Well, Dane, you set up your command center.
Yes, as soon as I know I don't have to pack something up for at least 3 or 4 days, I'm like, okay, finally, I can actually set things out.
Yeah.
I can maybe put something in the closet in the hotel room, which I never do if it's just for a day or two.
Yeah.
But it's the little things. You know, it's the little things.
Yeah, but then we did call our wives and tell them how we just farted a lot when we walked.
I'm sure they appreciated those calls.
Anyways, so let's go ahead and jump into some weekends. So Levi, what would your weekend look like?
I hung out,
relaxed.
Literally, I just chilled out. I wanted to work on my garage. I didn't. I wanted to pick up my house a little bit. I didn't. I did get Christmas decorations put away. I went on some walks with the dog.
Yeah.
Augie and I made some trips to the Jacksons to get some sodas for the fam. I put some Legos together. I posted last night. We did some Legos. Augie and I, he had a couple different sets, so we put those together last night. Nice. So we did the Rubicon, the Technic Jeep Rubicon.
Oh, cool.
So we built that. It took us about 4.5 hours between the two of us. So that was nice. Just kind of hung out a lot. Oh, the biggest thing we did this weekend, introduced my children to Star Wars.
Oh, so they hadn't watched any of the media from it before?
They had watched
original
Force Awakens.
Oh, okay.
That was the only one they'd ever seen.
I mean, that one's fairly kid-friendly.
I'd gotten them the little kids' golden books and stuff when they were little. They had Star Wars. They knew the characters, but they never watched it. And I think I explained this on the last podcast. We had started 4, 5, and 6 with them.
Yeah.
They finished those. So then this weekend,
because they're awesome.
This weekend we started 1, 2, and 3.
Ooh.
And we watched them.
Which have their moments, but are different.
Which have their moments, but they're different. But my kids loved them.
I think it works on kids, especially.
I think it works just fine for them. It was funny last night. We decided to start watching some of the Clone Wars cartoons now.
Yeah.
And Hadley goes, "Can we just watch Phantom Menace over again?" And I said, I don't really want to watch that one right now, but you can watch it tomorrow.
With the coolest villain who was underutilized.
Yeah.
Horrible.
So, but I think that was the most fun, was starting that with them and starting that process and journey over this Christmas break, being able to do that with them. So I was very excited that they liked it. They enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Augie really, really enjoyed watching that stuff, especially just coming back a month ago from Galaxy's Edge.
Okay.
And being in that Star Wars land at Disney. and being able to experience that first and then go, oh my gosh, that looks like this. Oh my gosh, that's like this. Oh, that was at Gallup. Like he's noticed, he's picking up clues.
Did he or did he not watch The Mandalorian with you guys?
Then? They've watched The Mandalorian, but again, that's not.
But not
in their minds. They don't know.
Stuff.
They don't know.
Okay.
So they've watched Mandalorian, but they have no frame of reference on stuff. They just know characters from books.
Gotcha.
That they've read. So. But that was it. So it was a fun weekend to see. They really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to continue this saga with them.
Yeah,
and see where we go. It was fun. We did family movie nights in the theater, and that was good. Augie kept making a fort and wouldn't sit still for the show, but it is what it is. So, but all in, it was I tried to keep it as chill as possible this weekend. Hard to do, but. It was the best that we could and the best that I could handle, but it was nice. Like I said, I got to do some walks. The Suburban's got a leak in the roof. And
like a seal or something?
Yeah, the third brake light, when I replaced it this year, it doesn't seal fully.
Oh, no, it's like my Montero was.
So when it rains,
all the water comes in through the rear hatch.
Well, it doesn't come in through the rear hatch. It rains, and it leaks inside, and then it goes down the C-pillars in the back. And then it leaks into the floor.
Oh wait, but the third brake light on the burb is outside. On the roof. It's external, and it's on top of the roof. Right.
And the old one was completely just fried, 20 years old fried plastic.
Yeah.
So I replaced it, and I made sure that I used the seal and everything, and
maybe
thought it
throw
was right.
Some like silicone around.
So now I'm going to have to do that because what it did was I went to the grocery store, grabbed some groceries and some soda, and when I opened the back doors to put it in, like my carpet was saturated, the back half of the carpet.
And of course, it's a good thing it's not hot outside, otherwise you might have mold.
Oh, soaking wet. Mildew. So I pulled the truck in, let it sit in the garage for 2 nights.
Yeah.
Used my vacuum, sucked everything out, sprayed a cleaner on it, scrubbed it, vacuumed it, shampooed it, or didn't shampoo it, steamed it.
Oh, okay.
Sucked it up again, and then I put a space heater in the truck, and then rolled the windows down, and had the space heater just sit in that back area, pulled the seat up and stuff to kind of create a little heat pool, so to speak, to help dry out, and then had the airflow blowing through the truck to dry it out. So I was able to dry it out over the weekend, which was nice, but I need to go get maybe some RTV sealant or something and just put a little bead around there to help.
I know a guy that knows how to lay down a pretty good bead of caulk.
I mean, well, I'm very excited.
Maybe I need your assistance with my taillights then, so I'm not getting condensation in there.
Oh, Dane, I could caulk those taillights for you.
Okay, well, when you got spare time to wield that thing, then we can go ahead and take care of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Just put it in my hand.
I was going to point out Joey here mentioning one of my favorite games on my N64 when I was a kid. Episode 1 Pod Racer was a fun game.
Yeah.
But you had it on PC. Okay. Yeah, I can totally feel that. Limited edition Pepsi cans,
I remember those.
too.
I had those, yeah.
Someone help me think.
Weren't those the ones that had the characters on them, right?
Yeah.
God.
Mostly just saw Jar Jar ones and the droid ones. Those were
a ton of Jar Jar ones. God, I hated those.
I really don't like that character. Watching them again,
no,
I'm like, wow,
you're like,
the worst.
He's
character.
even worse now. But then
he's the worst character.
Just going with the he's a dark Sith Lord theory makes it a lot more fun. So I just choose to believe that.
G says
thank you,
the wetness in the Suburban.
Oh no, thanks,
Dane.
Bud. Oh God.
Oh my God.
That's enough of that.
All right, so
anyway,
Dane,
how was your weekend?
Your weekend?
Relatively uneventful. I did some of like my own streaming for New Year's and stuff, where I just kind of had people come in and hang out while I played games up through New Year's, and then go figure, I lost track of time. I switched games, and I was just kind of going, and I'm hearing a lot of fireworks in the background, not even realizing it. And then they're like, "So what did you feel like playing the first game of the year?" And I'm like, "First game of the it's 12:20. I must have okay."
Yeah.
So. Yeah, no, I just mix it up, playing some stuff, and some fine folks came and hung out and chatted with me, so that was nice. I was gonna think about doing a party or something like that maybe a few months ago. I considered it, but in the end, it just didn't happen because I ended up not feeling like it. So I think next year I will do something, and I want to invite all you guys, but I'll have to come up with a solid plan.
Hager at Dane's.
Yeah, we can have some fun because I haven't had a housewarming party. I haven't had any kind of big hangout there, and I'd like to resolve that. So I think that'd be fun. Invite you guys out. Other than that, obviously did my normal nature walk stuff, but like I said, I kind of mixed it up, did some elevation this week. So went through the neighborhood, checked out cool architecture in the neighborhoods and stuff. And then, my dog, poor dog, she's finally starting to show her age a little bit, and I'm like, oh no, this is the part. This is when you
Sounds
start
like it's
to
time
worry.
to get a Vizsla, Dane.
A what?
A Vizsla. It's a dog that can run 100 miles with you.
Oh, a Vizsla, the dog breed. Okay, yeah. I've looked at Eurasians and that kind of stuff. It doesn't really help my poor dog that I have.
You get a puppy.
She's not dying.
You get a puppy.
Dane.
Yeah.
Everybody's dying.
People, well, yeah, we're all dying in that sense.
Yeah,
but
you get a puppy. You still got a good couple years with her. The puppy starts to learn, but then you take the puppy on the walks and you leave Callie behind.
Here's why I know.
You and the dog start doing some epic stuff. Next thing you know, Dane's a 100-miler.
Callie's special because she's basically about 14 at this point, and people still think she's a puppy when they see her. It's so funny. I'll be walking on the trail and stuff.
14 years
yeah,
old.
I know.
Old dog.
And she's slowed down. She can't climb things quite the same she used to. But just in terms of appearances, like people think she's still a young pup.
Well, she's a pretty dog.
So she's a sweet girl, and I'm gonna be really distraught when that
I remember when my
happens.
first.
I could just.
I remember when I was young and I got a bulldog. And
she's lived
20.
through tons of my relationships and other
Dane,
stuff. Like she's been with me longer than anybody else outside my family.
When I turned 20, and when he died when I was 28, it's still a source of contention.
Yeah.
So I know it's weird.
I don't know when it'll happen.
That was with you for so much,
but I'm not looking forward to it now. Okay, this is a horribly dark topic to bring up, but I have a question.
Oh my god.
So, when things start to go south with your beloved pet, do you pull the plug immediately, or do you try and make it work and things get rougher and rougher and rougher, and you're like, I should really stop, but I want to keep my friend around?
If your dog is like,
I'm of the mind that like
your dog is 2 or 3.
Do him a favor, and
I would say if your dog was like 2 or 3, if Callie was 2 or 3, and let's say she goes into some health issues, and you're like, holy crap,
because I've seen other family pets who went through the stuff and they start to suffer. And I don't want any of that.
Yeah, but I would say like Dane, if all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, I had to pay $8,000 for a surgery, 2 or 3, I'm like, okay, I could see that. Like Anthony's dogs, they're still like if Huck or Baylor, they're still young.
They got a ways to
go. But I know that you would try and save that dog. At 14, if you get roped into hey man, we can save her quality of life for the next 6 months to a year.
All it'll cost you is a new car payment, and
Dane, no.
I know.
You can just say like, well, I'll let her come home,
and somebody will be like, "You monster! You're not going to save your best friend." And it's like, well, but it goes deeper than that because you're not really saving them. You're just dragging out.
Also,
the
think of it as an age of a person.
You're going to be talking about euthanizing here.
I'm just saying, think of you don't have to do that.
But
like my dad took my and. My dad did this.
I think Ryan's right.
Ryan's right. We will know the time.
I think that's it.
That's what I'm throwing out there.
And that's what my dad did. Like my dad said, my dog when I was growing up had a heart attack. He was 14, and his legs didn't work one day.
Yeah.
And so he had that stroke, and my dad was like, "Oh, dang it!" Took him to the vet. Vet's like, "Well, he's 14.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want to do? We could try surgery. We could try this to see if we could get his legs working again, or you can just take him outside." And so my dad would take him outside to go to the bathroom. We had a fenced-in yard. My dad was like, you can still see it in his eyes. He's like a happy dog. That dog lived another year rolling around like a snake. He was a corgi, but he'd cruise around like a snake in the grass, and you'd see him, and he'd be happy to see you, and you'd pet him, and he'd come sit on, my dad would put him on his lap and hold him. Like, my dad's like, my dog's still my dog, he just can't walk. But then at the end of that year...
it's a question of quality of life. At a certain point, you have to go, I'm just dragging this out because I'm not willing to
But that was the argument that me and my sisters had. Just put him down, like, put him out of his misery, let him do his thing. And my dad was like, my dad loved him. And my dad kept him, and he lived another year. And then he passed away in his sleep one morning. And that was it. And my dad was like, I got my time with him, and I was happy with it.
And I can respect that.
Totally. And once he explained that, I said, all right, I get it. I totally get it.
It's when you dip into like cancer and other things. You just really, you don't want to.
And it's like Ryan says, you'll know the time. Yeah. Like I had to put cats down for other reasons. Yeah. And it's just, it is what it is. And it sucks. All of it sucks.
The one thing I have to go positive on this is that she, in the last 4 months, had her health checkup, and the vets were honestly amazed. For her age, they're like, she has nothing wrong with her. This is shocking. Like, no hip stuff, no eye stuff, no hearing stuff. She's been healthy because she's not purebred anything, so she doesn't have the normal problems. So I've been lucky there. It's just, I figured I'd ask the question. Sorry to make everybody sad for a minute there, but I thought it's something that's worth talking about because it's something we can all relate to. At some point in our lives, we've had to go through that with a beloved pet, family or otherwise.
It's gonna hurt. Yeah. I just know that. So.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony. How was your New Year's?
How are you?
Why don't you bring this level back up here?
Let's
follow Dane the Downer over here. Jeez.
I'm just asking questions.
Over here thinking, I'm like, okay, how much longer do my dogs have to live?
Now that's all he's going to be thinking about.
God, sorry about that, everybody. So I guess moving on. My weekend, I think Friday night was pretty chill. I think, we had just finished up here. Everybody actually left early Friday afternoon. And I think me and Dane stayed for a little while longer because we had to get some photo, video stuff done. And then after that, I think, Friday night was pretty chill. I think we just kind of hung out. Then Saturday, oh boy. So, because I know my wife's going to listen to this. So Saturday, my wife wanted to take our daughter to, it's called the Idaho Children's Museum.
Yeah, been there. Yeah. Right?
In Meridian.
Yeah. It's a waste of money.
I was going to say, it just sounds questionable. Just in the name, I'm like, what is it?
I'll give you some backstory. It's called the Idaho Children's Museum.
Heard of it, but I don't know what's in there.
It's located in Meridian, Idaho. What it used to be was an old restaurant. It was a restaurant. I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but it was a restaurant.
Spaghetti Liquidators.
I can't remember what it was, but it was a restaurant that had been there for, I don't know, it was there for 5-6 years. Shut down, and then the building was literally abandoned, meaning that nobody went into the building.
Never got another business in it.
Somebody owned it, but there was never anything in it. And if you still look through the windows, you would still see all the booths where people sat and the lobby area and all that stuff. And I guess within the last couple of years, the nonprofit Idaho Children's Museum made that their main, HQ and location. It's the weirdest thing because it is literally a restaurant that's converted into a children's quote unquote museum. And then they literally took the back parking lot where they would dump the trash and have employees park, and they turned it into a outdoor exhibit area.
Yeah.
So I don't, you know what I mean? It's like the best intentions, but without the money to actually do the dang thing.
Yeah.
So it kind of is what it is. But my wife,
and it's expensive.
My wife said
it's expensive to go there, which doesn't make sense.
So my wife
should be $3 a person. It's like 15 or 10.
Whoa. I can't remember.
It's a lot.
What are we going to? Disneyland?
Yeah, no, it's bad.
So she's like, "Hey, I want to take her daughter there because they're doing this this balloon drop at noon, right? Where they're going to drop a bunch of balloons for all the kids inside the building, and it's going to be like their New Year's celebration."
Yeah.
I said, "All right, let's go."
Imagine the poor kid who shows up with a latex allergy.
I'll admit that I wasn't in the best mood. I think I didn't sleep well that night, and I was already kind of going into this pretty grumpy. But I had a feeling that this was going to be what I thought.
Underwhelming.
So we get there. There's a line wrapped around the building. We wait in line there, and I'm like, we're literally waiting in line at a restaurant to get into a children's museum. But we make it in there, and guys, they fit more people in that building than I think that capacity should even allow.
So, like, if the fire marshal was there, there'd be a talk.
I've never been in a place where I've seen more.
Sounds like you're a local person. This guy there.
Yeah. So I don't know how to describe. I've never seen more parents with, like, the parent to kid ratio was like 2 kids per 1 parent type of thing. But what it was is when you look into a room, your lower section of a room is filled with kids, but then the upper section of the room is filled with the height of the parents, right? For if you can distinguish.
So it's like a terraced garden, but
yes, but
humans.
it's like waves. It's like waves of people, and all these kids are running around to each one of these rooms. That these rooms probably were like at one.
A janitor's closet, but now it's a exhibit.
It's exactly what it is.
So what are the exhibits in this place? Like, what are you looking at? What's the museum consist of?
There is there's a hospital exhibit where you can go and be a doctor. There is
basically like a bunch of children play sets. Is what it feels like.
Okay. See, when I think museum, I'm like, this is dedicated to the late.
This is a hospital. Yes. This is it's so kids can learn about these things.
This almost sounds like a bizarro version of the Discovery Center.
Worse.
Yeah, but worse.
But Discovery Center's awesome.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
I would rather spend the money at the Discovery Center than at the Children's Museum.
Sixth of the Discovery Center.
Sounds very disappointing.
I'm trying to be okay with it, but the problem is you have all these kids running around, everybody's screaming. You have these parents that are all like, dang, I didn't think that there would be this many people here. Everybody was of the same
Everybody
thought.
was in the same energy field.
The same energy
Everybody's
of
thinking, I'm going to catch something.
Wow, this is overwhelming, but we're doing it for the kids, right?
Right.
And I have just this, my little 1-year-old she just wants to grab a foam block and run around with it, right?
Yeah, she doesn't
but
share.
I'm like deathly afraid of all these other 5-year-olds and 4-year-olds who are running around with higher energy, just knocking things over.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't want my kid to get knocked over, right? But the exhibits were
whatever
is what it was. And the balloon drop was 2 bags of balloons that they hung from the ceiling and then just ripped them open, right? The kids screamed. They loved it, right? But I'm
it cost the museum like
I spent
$5.
Yeah, you're like, this it cost me $25 to experience this balloon drop.
This is a wreck.
the back patio area where they set up the outdoor feature. I kid you guys, I kid you not. Like, so
You guys can go check out Idaho Children's Museum on Google.
They took 3 Idaho Tough Sheds. It's just an outdoor shed. It with not painted, not finished on the inside at all. It's just your normal scrap OSB wood, right?
Yeah.
That they just put little features in. So you just walk into a shed and these kids are literally playing on wet wood flooring. And I go, dang, this isn't good.
So that's the last time you're ever going to go there.
Well, no, so listen, it got better though. So we're there. They did the balloon drop, right? And I said, all right. I said, Katie, and she's like, we need it a little longer. We're going to check out a few more things.
Yeah, you spent money there.
And I said, what about now? What about now? What about now? Right? And then my daughter wanted to go over to this little playset where they have like a little Thomas the Train kind of playset area,
Thomas
right?
the Tank Engine.
And
Thomas or a Diesel.
So she walks over there to go grab one of the trains because she just wanted to go and play. She's never seen like those little train tracks. And this little 5-year-old punk, this little I can't say. This little freaking kid, right? This little 5-year-old punk that I look at him and I go, I know who you're going to be when you grow up, and I don't like any bit of who you're going to be when you grow up, right? I looked at his parents. I said, that makes sense. Ooh. That is exactly what you're going to be.
Right.
And I don't like those
You
people,
judge that book by its cover.
And
how wrong were you?
He runs over to the table,
Probably
right?
not much.
Because he's like, no, right? Because my Lucy's grabbing one of the trains. He's like, don't touch it. Goes over to her, grabs her by the head, and pushes her off to the side.
Oh, that's going to bring out the Mama Bear
all
energy.
of a sudden, that's when the drifter popped out.
I almost
and Anthony was ready to go.
I'm ready to shank
this
a kid.
freaking 5-year-old and chucked him through the window. I've never been more mad in my entire life seeing that happen. He just grabbed her, put his whole hand around her head, and just shoved her to the side.
Palmed her like a basketball.
And Katie was like, "Excuse me, like, what are you doing?" And this kid's like, "Hey, she touched my train." This is not your freaking train, dude. You're in the Meridian Children's Idaho Museum, whatever it is. And the dad kind of
belongs to a nonprofit.
And the dad kind of like scuttles over. Oh yeah, sorry about that. And I look at the dad, I look at the kid, and I go, I just wanted to tell him that your kid is going to be a failure in life.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell him that your kid is going to be what's wrong.
Wise words.
With people. This is what he's going to be a bully, and I just hate that your kid's already like this. So, anyways, I'm sorry about that. That's really rude for me to say, but I've just never wanted to throw another kid out a window. Yeah. So I will say though, in that place, they have a very cool mock Trader Joe's.
Correct.
Right? Miniature Trader Joe's. Actually pretty cool. They have a little Idaho.
That was the coolest thing there?
Honestly, yes. It's like they had
Strange,
the budget. They put the
I'll
budget
go with it.
Well, it's because Trader Joe's
Oh, wait, did Trader Joe's actually fund it?
Yeah, okay. I think that they had the budget for that.
why.
And then Idaho Pizza had a little area where they did their stuff. So they had the budget for a couple of these things, but everything
corporate.
else is pretty janky. So,
So I will say, if you have not been to the Idaho History Museum,
I'm familiar with that one.
If you haven't been since the remodel,
haven't seen that.
Which happened about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Definitely worth the money.
Okay.
To go to the museum and spend a morning or an afternoon there. Honestly, Anthony, I think Lucy will like it.
Where?
The Idaho History Museum at Julia Davis Park.
Oh yeah,
the museum, the historical museum.
No, I love the
that
museum.
place.
I love
the museum,
that place,
zoo,
but the
that
new,
stuff,
but now that it's been completely remodeled, expanded, it's beautiful. They have so many more interactive displays and things for kids.
I even like the art museum. That's great too.
No, but I'm saying actually cool. I really like
But I will say, if you haven't been to the historical museum, the history museum, it's definitely worth it.
Sure.
It's so good. I started taking my kids after the same type of children's museum debacle.
Yeah, experience.
And I said, that was garbage. I don't like any of that. Hadley and Augie were like, that was the coolest place ever. We need to go back there. I said, I'm not paying the money for that experience.
You're never going back there again.
We're never going back there again.
That was a garbage experience.
It was a garbage experience. And you are not garbage
Somebody
children.
says a children's museum. I just pictured exhibits of like different examples of children throughout the
So what
era.
I did was then I looked and I thought, Discovery Center's fun, but it's too expensive.
Yeah.
It's too much money for what it is. So then I looked at the historical museum and it was like so cheap. And I said, And I took them on a Saturday one day.
It's not a racket.
I took them one day.
It's just a museum.
Yeah, and I went and I was like, holy crap, that was the most. We had the most fun, the three of us that day, that I came back home and told Carly, and I was like, you need to take the kids there. You need to check it out. Hadley then asked for her birthday. What do you want to do for your birthday with a couple friends as a friend party? I want to go to the museum.
Wow.
I want to take them to Boomtown. And I'm like, and that's Boomtown. They have a mine that they built for kids.
Okay.
And you can literally put sticks of dynamite in.
Oh, okay. I wasn't
push
quite
a
sure what you
plunger.
were doing.
It makes an explosion sound, and all the dynamite falls down at the bottom. And then out the back are a bunch of foam blocks that they can then push their little cart over to fill with foam blocks of rock.
Fun.
And then they run it back around, and then they dump out the. It's the best. They love it. They have
Simple,
they get to
but
pull
rad.
a steam whistle. At the train,
Get back to work.
Yeah, they can yell. Like Augie loves it because he had a whip all of a sudden, and I was like, "Where did you get that?"
Oh no!
And he was like, "We gotta get this train rolling, and I need that ore put in." And I said, "What is happening? What is going on?"
He just pulled it off of like a statue in the corner.
It was very strange. Point is, definitely worth it.
Okay,
it's worth it for yourself as well,
Sure.
just to go, Dane, just because it's so much. It hits so many different things.
I haven't visited those museums since I was a kid visiting, and my Aunt Gwen took me around because we weren't from here. So
no, I would make it another day, kind of like a Saturday. You and Liz maybe just go and go.
Joey,
we're just gonna go cruise.
It's all right.
So
yeah,
it's all right here. It's not bad.
Anthony wants to scare you away because he's tired of people moving here.
Not bad.
But anyway,
so
that's my advice.
But Joey, I would allow you to move here. You're allowed.
Continuing on. So then after the whole children's museum thing, we got some Chick-fil-A, and then we came back to the house, and from there it was just kind of a chill. I mean, that was New Year's Eve, yeah, right? Pretty chill night going into that. So I was like, well, Katie, I'm gonna go wash my car for a little bit. Do a little warm absolute wash in the garage, right?
You do.
So I pulled the Civic in there because I wanted to knock out some stuff this weekend on that car, so I wanted to give it a quick wash. During my wash, I noticed that actually going back about a couple weeks now, I noticed that some of the clear on my hood, in a couple spots, I'm seeing these white spots where air or liquid or water, moisture has gotten underneath, right? And you can see the separation of the clear from the base coat, right?
On the Evo?
On the Civic.
Okay.
And so I saw these little dots kind of forming off on the side of the hood. And I was like, I'll just keep an eye on it. It's
time for us to PPF that hood.
And unfortunately not Levi, because I gave the Civic a wash, went over to the hood, gave it a spray down with that, the Absolute, and some weird way that liquid got underneath the clear, right, and literally formed a bubble underneath the clear. And it's about
on the hood,
4 inches tall,
wow,
2 inches wide.
Wow.
And
it really delaminated.
I could literally squeegee out the liquid from underneath the clear coat, right?
Yeah.
I could literally take my hand and squeegee it out. And I go, holy crap.
It goes fast. It goes fast. It started doing that on the...
Like, it's done. Like, this is full.
That was what it was doing on the Elantra on the bumper.
So it's time for a repaint.
This is full delamination.
Oh, my gosh.
And then I grabbed my drying towel, went to go dry it off.
Pulled it off.
Pulled it straight off. Lifted the whole thing right off. No. And so now I have a huge chunk of
clear
missing clear on my hood.
Now it's gonna
good call,
go
Miller.
even
No,
faster.
it's just going to keep going. I mean, I can tell it's already just going to keep going.
Yeah, it's going to go way faster now.
So I get to see that nice, beautiful matte base coat underneath there. Looks like absolute crap. And I don't know what else to do. I mean, basically
repaint the hood.
Just go and respray it and have it resprayed. And the hard part is, man, it's that there's clear coat failure that's happening all over that car, all over it. Small.
It's just a ticking time bomb.
It's slow. It's progressing, but it's slow. But it's happening everywhere. The bumper as well, and the lower parts of the bumper, it's starting to go there as well. There's a lot of different areas where I say this is the last of this. This clear coat. It's got another year, maybe year and a half left. So it's a hard pill to swallow. Spending $300, maybe more, to go get a hood resprayed
when there's more.
When I'm just going to say, so then I'm just respraying this car one panel at a time. How long am I going to have this car for?
He's going to sell it to one of his friends.
I don't think I'm going to sell it. I just think I wish there was a better answer. And everybody would say, just wrap the car. I don't want to wrap the car. I hate wrap. I hate the way the wrap looks.
Oh, no.
Sorry. Well, it's just true. Unless I love the nose attack
Sorry,
wrap,
guys.
But I don't like the way wrap looks. That's just me. So there's really not a whole lot of other answers out there. Yeah. Other people said, why don't you just get a carbon fiber hood? That would look pretty cool.
That actually sounds like a
But
cool
then I say, then my problem is, what do I do with my old freaking hood?
Hang it on your garage.
Yeah, it's totally something you can hang as wall decor.
Literally that's the last
and
thing.
It's like totally deteriorating.
It's the last thing.
I got there and O&R wash my hood.
I hate that. So I don't know what I would even do. So but a hood's not small. Dude.
No, it's huge.
So then where do you do the whole hood? Where do you store it?
Hang it on the wall.
Dude, and so it's like painting it probably. Yeah, put it next
Joey.
Put it next to the barn door.
Keep it next to the barn door.
Yes.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm.
I was gonna say $300 is cheap, dude.
It is, but it's the fact that he's saying
it is. But like I'm saying,
but
that's just the start of it. I mean, that's me taking the hood off. I'm gonna bring it to them, and they would just
be chasing around the whole car eventually.
I'm just going around the whole car in a circle until everything would be repainted, and it's never been done like 100% right because most of the paint jobs I've paid for have been pretty cheap, or I've done it myself.
Yeah.
Also cheap. So
but you had the rear bumper sprayed. You had the front. You haven't had the front bumper done. You had the door, the rear bumper.
So right now it's front fender, door, rear bumper. Spoiler's already starting to go as well, and that's it.
Okay. So you haven't done a lot of.
No, so I'm saying there's a lot left to
go.
go.
That's interesting though on the spoiler because the spoiler wasn't original to the car.
No, it was Anthony's.
No. You added that. Oh
no. So the spoiler was already painted, and that, but it's starting to go. The clear's starting to go in that.
Poor quality clear, but he found that you found that color match.
Yeah.
Already painted.
But the roof's already starting to go. So it just
there's a lot to paint.
Dude, I don't.
So you have to spend $300 every year to replace to paint a part.
Literally, that's literally.
Does he wait
or cash in on your popularity?
But here's the problem: he's now on a ticking time bomb.
Yeah,
because that hood's going to deteriorate. Yeah. But that's what he's saying. Do I spend $1,500 and have the hood and the roof and maybe another panel
sprayed,
nickel
and dime him,
a bumper, and do like what he just did on the Acura, or do I do that $300 and then maybe next year do the roof for $300, then do another, or is that worth it?
For what it's worth, I'll just be honest with you. I think that car's paint has gotten worse since I started using nothing but pressure washing it and washing it.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest. I mean, like I never like the clear's always been.
But
bad
you're also at
think,
the limit.
I think
if you think about it, you're at the limit.
I'm at the limit. But I'm just saying that I don't think that spraying it with a pressure washer is
that
probably
car
doing any favors.
20. What year is that? 2000?
99 or 2000?
99.
So it's 25 years old.
24
years old, but 2023.
I feel like the RSX could more or less replace it though, and you're.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you're at a limit, and in the last
your fans
that car
mad, but
has been cared for better in the last 6 years that you've owned it.
Yeah.
Than the previous. 15
in anyone else's hands, it would have died a lot sooner,
and it should have died a lot sooner.
Yeah, but you managed to keep it going way past its expiration.
You could have been the kid that walked by that car, and the next person bought it, and that clear coat could have failed within the next year because they just didn't care for it.
Right.
You underwent like a massive.
I know. I've really, I've chemoed this car to a pretty good spot far as I could.
Yeah.
But all right. Anyway, so
certain point it goes Heisenberg.
Clear coat's failing is what it is. I don't know. Like, it looks hideous right now. Like, I can't stand it. Like, it's so freaking bad that, like, I don't want. It's weird. I don't want to be seeing it because I'm like, look at that giant chunk of clear missing on the hood. Oh. Like, the rest of the car still looks pretty good. That looks horrible.
Yeah.
So
I'm just gonna say, if it were me, paint the hood and sell it.
Dane, I know, but you sell everything every year, so I
paint the hood. The thing looks good. Understand? Tell people it is thin here. I'm letting you know ahead of time. But it looks good now. And then they buy it for top dollar and you sell it.
Dane, I can't do that. Moving on to my next trick. So after that, we ended up watching some movies on New Year's Eve night, right? Because we stayed home. Hey. I didn't really want to go and do anything. My friends who don't have kids were partying, and they're like, "Bro, come out, dude! Like, we're having a house party here." I'm like, "Who's here?" They send me a picture. It's all 4 couples that have no kids.
Yeah,
and I go,
"Can't."
Yeah, I can't.
Have fun.
I'm like, I can't do that. No, bring your daughter. It's cool. It's chill. I'm like, it's not chill, right? Like, you guys look like you put your face in a pile of flour, right? I'm just kidding. No,
whoa, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. No.
Oh,
but I'm sure that probably was going on.
No, but you've got so much. You have to bring so much.
Yeah, like, dude, it's not going to happen, man. Yeah. So, and I told them that he should probably grow up. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, so moving on. That night, I ended up ordered pizza, hung out, tried to find a movie to watch, spent 3 hours trying to find a movie, could not find a movie. And then eventually I said, Katie, there's this movie I've been wanting to check out. It's called Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, or whatever it is, right?
Rent it. You had to buy it.
And I said, I could watch it on Peacock, I believe.
Oh, there you go.
And so whatever the heck it is.
Paramount.
Oh,
so,
obscure
Paramount.
app.
So we turned that on, and we made it 30 minutes into it.
Womp womp.
And Katie goes, this is like the worst movie I've ever seen. And,
Agree to disagree.
And the thing was, I was watching it and I said, nothing's happening right now, and
you're missing out on so much.
I'm not liking it either.
So much.
So weirdly enough, I would have had to agree. I haven't seen the full. I have to watch the full thing.
You watch the full thing, you might feel different about it. That's all I'm saying.
I will say, Dane, I don't know how you got your parents to make it 15 minutes into that movie.
No, like they watch the whole thing, and it all comes down to whether you buy into like the mother-daughter relationship or not. And if you do, and you buy into that, and you want to see like a interesting relationship study, then that is a great story. If you're not invested in that, though, then it's harder to do. Yeah. But it's family dynamics. It's like the core of the whole thing in a literal sense. So if you're not interested in that, it's probably not going to work on you, and I'll say that up front. But my God, that is one of my favorite movies of all time now.
Anyway,
I will. So we shut that off immediately.
Glad you didn't pay for that.
And didn't pay for it. And I think that was kind of it for New Year's Eve night. I did nothing crazy. Then Sunday, that's when I tackled my big car project. So I got up, and then what I ended up doing on the car with clear coat failure is I revamped the whole shifter setup. So I installed a new shifter assembly into the car, but on top of that, played mechanic for the day, did a manual transmission fluid flush, right?
Ooh,
and I also changed out
a
shift shaft seal.
Yeah.
Right? Never changed out a shift shaft seal before, so I thought, why the heck not? Mine's
fun
seeping.
To say.
Why not? And I would say it 10 times fast. And did that. I thought it would have been a 30-minute project, but with taking photos and like videos for future learning lessons.
Yeah, so you can do it again if you have to.
Took me like 9 hours. Like it was, and I realized that I wish I had things like quick jacks, or I wish I had something to help me get under the car faster, easier, because jack stands just suck, man. Yeah. I had no room. And the things I had to work on were just a nightmare for that amount of room and that little light. So, but I did that. So new shifter assemblies in there. Dude, that thing is notchy. Like you clunk it into gear, right? It's kind of like, not a sequential.
Like a gated manual where it's really clicky.
Like gated.
Yeah. But I mean, it is like, when you thunk it into gear, I mean, it's in there. It feels pretty freaking sick. So anyways, I'm improving the car that's dying.
Yeah.
And because that's what people do. It's like our conversation about the dogs, right? You're trying to put money into the thing that will just eventually go.
It's eventually gonna have to move on to brighter things.
And then yesterday, so I finished that up, and then yesterday took a drive in the Evo. It was a really beautiful day. The sun was out, and I did that. And then I don't know. I think my mom stopped by, and I don't know. I think that was pretty much about it.
Nestor, I just want to apologize to you. My main take is there are far too many apps these days for entertainment. It's all stratified and atomized and all that stuff. There's just way too many. It's like cable all over again. You're just paying a bunch of fees all over the place now.
What app are you talking? What did you say, obscure?
Well, I said Peacock, because kind of like the Paramount app and Peacock and like all these other ones, Tubi.
But it was funny, but he goes some obscure app probably. Yeah, that's what he said, and so
where basically if it's not Hulu, Netflix, or HBO,
I think Nestor over
so
here.
Sorry, Nestor. It was not a dig at your work. I'm sure you did a perfectly fine job on it.
In his eyes, it's not obscure, Dane. That's probably
it was his job.
His life's work.
As long as they paid you fairly, that's all that matters.
Anyways, so I mean that was pretty much it. At the end of a chill rest of the day, but I don't know.
Nice.
Like I said, I'm trying to find more time to do the car stuff, to take the photos, and to take the videos for historical reasons. But trying to find the time to do that, and we'll figure out what I do about the paint issues on the car. The RSX was an easy one to have repainted and just say, hey, this car is worth it to have certain things repainted. The Civic, I'm not saying the Civic is not worth it. It's just, money. And into a 24-year-old car that doesn't have 20,000 miles, right?
Right.
It'd be a completely different story. This would be a completely different subject if it was like, hey, it's a 20,000-mile car.
Yeah.
It's almost perfect, except it needs to do paint, done deal. But it's a 170,000-mile car where I go.
Yeah.
We have our limits.
It's like case, but then it's another.
How much money do you want to put into that car?
Another $40,000 after everything that I would want to do, and then it still wouldn't be in the garage.
Yeah.
The value to the people who like it in your life, the followers and such, the value is in its aesthetic appeal, really, like when you think about it. So as soon as that starts going, it's like, okay, now you got to make the hard decisions. But Joey here
says, dude, the Quick Jacks, I don't think that they're necessarily bad. I would love to have a high quality jacking system, right? The Quick Jacks, I feel like the idea is great, but I don't know how often people are really going to their shelf, pulling them down, throwing them. How often are you utilizing them to justify spending $1,400?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're running a business out of your home,
but even at my when I had my shop, we was looking at Quick Jacks, and it would have been nice for the shop, but
you got to justify.
I never justify
it. It is definitely.
It's more or less plugging in the lines, getting everything set up, making sure everything's bled right, making sure the pressure in the system's good. Whereas you just kind of go, oh, I could just take a jack and jack that up and throw a jack stand under there and be like, but in the same time.
Well,
except it doesn't go as high.
Those are the mysteries of 2023 that we will then figure out.
Dane? So I was going to wrap up with talking about that. Quick Jacks, fairly safe as long as you're using them right. But the last part I was going to touch on was, oh boy, 2023 is off to one heck of a start here between, bad things happening. Going.
Rest in peace, Ken Block.
Rip Ken Block,
you will be missed. He was a legend.
Yeah, absolutely.
God, man. I mean, that guy, the thing is, I think probably, how do I say this? I think that they probably filmed a lot of these things. I think he's a great driver, but I think that his legend was made because of media and
he opened a lot of people up to different sports and ideas and car stuff that may not have been interested prior. I think that was his real true. He was a gateway for people.
I think that a lot of the videos and a lot of the media and the way the videos were shot, really put it out there. But
they did a good job.
He lived a pretty amazing life. I mean, that guy did a lot of cool things. He got to drive the coolest cars, and
he lived a good life.
It's
pretty crazy. It was pretty wild,
huge
for sure.
Hit on the car community for the people that really care about that stuff.
Yep.
And I don't know. I just hope that. Can't imagine, man, because he's got his kids. And he's got
his daughter's like 16.
And he got his daughter who's really into driving and racing now.
She was building an Audi and stuff.
just a freaking snowmobile.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
Never ridden a snowmobile, and I never will.
That's why
I've ridden several snowmobiles, and they are fun.
That's why we're going to make 2023 great. We're going to have fun. We're going to enjoy our lives, and we'll see a bunch of people. It'll be great. So, Dane, take us home.
Don't get run over by your own snowplow like Jeremy Renner. Okay, so guys, take care. Have a wonderful week. We will catch you on Q&A Thursday over on the main channel. I look forward to seeing you there. But most importantly, welcome to 2023. Let's make this a good one. So, see you guys.
See ya.